to be honest with you guys, I wanted to actually come on here regarding of how we fared against the 49ers last Sunday and actually do a little bit of a hype and hate because if yins know me, you know how I feel about the Cleveland Browns, all right? This is the oldest played matchup in AFC history, our oldest rivalry of all time. The franchise that, believe it or not, has beaten the Steelers the most times out of any NFL team. And now that I live in the Cleveland area, and I've lived here for almost a year now, I thought it'd be cool to come on here and hype up this game considering that it is still a Monday night game. But honestly, I kind of feel like a Browns fan right now because all the years we've kicked their ass and all the times that we were superior to them and they couldn't really say anything to us, now the tables are turned. And in my 21 years of being a fan, this is the least confident that I've ever felt about going up against the Cleveland Browns. What is going on, everybody? Good Friday morning to you guys. This is Mac, and I am back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram, link in the box below. This is my Week 2 preview between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Monday Night Football at Heinz Field. And also be sure to tune in on Sunday afternoon at noon as I will be collabing with a very good friend of mine and a proud Browns content maker, also a former TTC member as well, Crazy Dog Sports 99. As you know, as I said, I will be collabing with him like I did with CG Ruthless last week. Be sure to sub up to Crazy Dog. His link is posted in the collab, which is on my channel. But getting on to this game, there's really not much to say, so I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Browns first. Obviously, they had an outstanding game last Sunday against the Bengals. They walloped them 24-3. A game in which I thought the Browns could have won, considering that they have just dominated the Bengals over the past 5-6 years now. And Joe Burrow, believe it or not, now has the most losses to the Cleveland Browns by any quarterback since the Browns came back to the league in '99. That is actually pretty amazing now that I think about it. But yeah, you know, the Browns, they did what they needed to do. Their pass defense was excellent last Sunday. They held Joe Burrow to just 82 yards passing total on Sunday, and he actually got benched in that game. I don't know if it was because Zach Taylor thought, you know what, this guy still isn't fully healthy to play in this game, so let's just give him the rest of the day off. We're getting blown out, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Or if Burrow was just, you know, overall having a bad game. I don't know. Only Bengals fans know what was going on, and Zach Taylor does. Those are the only two people that know, and Joe Burrow as well. But the point is, any way you look at it, the Browns' pass defense was excellent. They held Jamar Chase and T. Higgins in check to pretty much nothing. They were non-factors in that game. And their pass rush was incredible as well. I mean, Joe Mixon was a non-factor as well. The Bengals just couldn't do anything offensively last Sunday. So Steeler fans, I guess if you want a silver lining, you know, for as badly as we played against the 49ers, I guess you can say, well, you know, at least we managed to score a touchdown, and at least Kenny Pickett managed to crack 100 yards passing, but still, both the Bengals and the Steelers looked like crap last Sunday. But getting back to the Browns, I mean, their pass rush, as I said, was amazing. That 1-2 punch of Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith is going to be lethal, especially now that they run a 4-down group with an expert like that in Jim Schwartz as their new defensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz has been around the league. He is a very good defensive-minded coach, and I thought that was a really good hire for the Browns because it kind of meshes in with the mentality that they run on defense right here. They like to get after people. Like I said, with Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, they're guys who just run down players, and they can play inside, and they can be moved all around the box as well, which is pretty big mismatch in my opinion right here because you look at our game. Kenny Pickett got sacked 5 times last Sunday, and Kenny Pickett, while, I'm going to get into Matt Canada in a little bit in this video, but Kenny Pickett isn't innocent either, okay? He played terrible Sunday. That was the worst game that I've seen Kenny Pickett have so far, where he was missing open guys, he was throwing behind receivers, he was trying to force passes into traffic. He threw 2 picks, should have been 3. I keep hammering that issue in. I mean, this just cannot happen again. It just can't. So, I mean, those are 2 really big mismatches right there as far as Cleveland's pass rush and as far as their run defense goes. Najee Harris, I'm just going to say it, man. Like, I am this close to calling Najee Harris a bust because there's a small, microscopic part of me. And when I say microscopic, I'm saying at this point you'd need like 5 microscopes to see my hope in Najee Harris that he can turn around. Because I really do believe that if you give Jaylen Warren the amount of carries that Najee's been getting, I really do feel like this offense, at least the run game could be better. But still, this offense is just putrid. And, it's just a big mismatch all around against the Cleveland Browns. Taking a look more at at Cleveland's defense as well, they just got great flexibility all along. Their second-level linebackers are just really good as well, and they got guys that can be rotated and swung in as well, which complements Zadarius Smith and Myles Garrett, like I said. More specifically, that Taki guy, who, as a Notre Dame fan, I can say Browns fans, that's a really solid pickup for you. You're looking at a physical guy, a guy who can drop into man coverage, and he can read the run game. He can drop down into pass coverage as well. He just shares packages all together, so maybe Jim Schwartz can mix up the nickel defense play style a little bit with him. So I thought that was a really good pickup for the Browns right there as well. Just really good continuity as far as their interior defense goes. But then you look at their secondary, more specifically with their corners with Denzel Ward and Newsome, who are real good playmakers. Denzel Ward's been with the Browns for a while now, and they're a guy that they've always been high on. Newsome, always a good X factor as well, and it really does get the defense focused on minimizing the run game as far as that goes, which is why it leads back into us with our pretty much non-existent run game, our non-existent offense in general. But on offense, it all starts with Nick Chubb as far as the Browns go. He is, in my opinion, the best running back in the game. Gashed the Bengals on Sunday on 18 carries, 106 yards total. Nick Chubb is just a guy who controls the entire game for the Cleveland Browns, and that's going to be even more evident this year as he pretty much has the backfield all to himself, seeing that the Browns moved on from Kareem Hunt in the offseason, which honestly might be best for him because Kareem Hunt, while he was serviceable for Cleveland, it's just that Nick Chubb is just the better player altogether. And, I thought that was a real important move by Cleveland right there. Obviously, the main headline this year for the Browns that's going to make or break their season is Deshaun Watson, who, yes, it is a very big double-edged sword as far as that trade with Houston went, because Cleveland mortgaged pretty much their entire future for him. And, to his credit, Watson did well on the ground against the Bengals, but they're not looking for a quarterback who can, pick up 45 yards on the ground and he can take off with his legs. They're looking for a guy that can shoot the ball down past 10 yards and average, that 15, 20-yard pass yards per pass range. And Watson definitely does have that capability. He's a guy that can extend plays. He's a guy that can, he's got a good vertical attack on defenses. He's got a good arm. And against the Bengals Sunday, he was just kind of mid through the air. Nothing real impressive. He threw a pick against the Bengals, so I guess, I guess Watson just didn't get massaged enough. But Just wanted to throw that out there. But anyway, in all seriousness with Watson, though, he needs to up that game. Because like I said, Cleveland's entire season this year relies solely on how Deshaun Watson goes. And if he keeps turning in performances like that, where they have to rely on Nick Chubb carrying the entire load as far as offense goes, it could be another mediocre year for Cleveland. You look at the targets they got. Amari Cooper, they're very high on. He's a serviceable target when all's said and done. David Njoku becoming a catalyst to the offense. I think Minka needs to be on him for pretty much the whole game. And a guy that no one really talks about as far as the weaponry goes for the Browns, but Browns fans and Kevin Stefanski, I guess, are very high on in general. Donovan Peoples-Jones. This guy just continues to put in solid game after solid game, and he's really developed and grown in a niche for the Cleveland Browns, and I feel like that's going to be a big X factor as far as Cleveland's weaponry goes. And, they got a top-notch offensive line quality guy. They're just a guy, they're just a team that'll just protect very well. I'm not going to say that they're super careful with the ball because, like I said, Watson threw that pick and, having to rely on Nick Chubb to be the majority of your offense, that can be one-dimensional as well. But, overall, you're looking at a Browns team that definitely has glimpses and flashes of being an elite team, but they can just never fully get to that level. And that's why I say this year is probably the most important year that the Browns are going to have in recent memory because, like I said, they mortgaged all them draft picks for Deshaun Watson, and he turns in an average performance Monday night like he did against the Bengals last Sunday, then Cleveland can be looking at potentially a very frustrating season once again. But, it's not to say that we're not going through the same thing with our quarterback and specifically our offense and just a lot of other things in general. We're coming in pretty banged up in this game, and while I generally don't use injuries as an excuse, it's getting kind of tiresome to say that next man up is what we're all about here, because it's not to say that we're lacking depth. It's that we can't keep using that as an excuse for why we come up short against elite competition. Cam Hayward is out for 8 weeks. At the very least, 8 weeks. He's missing at least half the season undergoing groin surgery. And that's going to be a huge loss as far as our rush defense goes. And even if you threw Cam into the equation last Sunday, I still don't think it would have made a difference. I mean, CMC just gashed us all day long on Sunday, and the 49ers ran for a collective 188 total yards of offense, and this is a rush defense that we were so high on coming into the season outside of the offense and the defensive backs as well. And they get gashed like that. And it ain't good. And Steeler fans, I'm saying right now, if you think that it's a smooth transition going from CMC to now Nick Chubb, that's one of the worst transitions in the NFL. And it don't get easier because after this game, we have the honor of going against Josh Jacobs without Cam Hayward once again. So this is a game where we got to see depth. We got to hope to see DeMarvin Leal, depending on how his elbow feels, because he's banged up as well. And I think this is where Keanu Benton has to be, involved as well. While Keanu Benton was impressive, even when he didn't record a stat, when he's on the field, he's still making a move and he's still turning up the field right there. So Keanu Benton definitely has to be involved in this game. But like I said, this rush defense was just so poor last Sunday. I don't know what happened to it. Even Quan Alexander, who we snagged a little bit before the regular season began, this is the first time since I made my video saying that we got Quan Alexander that I've mentioned his name? Where was Quan Alexander last Sunday? Just a lot of non-factors as far as our rush defense goes. And I know a lot of it came from yards after contact, but it doesn't matter. This rush defense just got absolutely destroyed, kicked in the teeth, body bag, T-boned, whatever you want to call it last Sunday. And now you're going up against Nick Chubb, the best running back in the game. Even Larry Ogunjobi, not even close to being 100%, I can say that. So when you have Montravius Adams starting as well, and Loudermilk getting time, it just goes to show you how busted it was. But aside from that, I mean, the pass defense was bad as well. There was no pressure on Brock Purdy. He could have taken a sweet time in the backfield, did what he needed to do, zip a pass to whoever was open. Brandon Ayuk torched us all Sunday. And the only guys who really did anything as far as the pass rush goes was TJ Watt, because he got 3 sacks. And that's it. Aside from Landon Roberts making a couple of plays, that's it too. I mean, the thing is, we could have gone from back in the day like Stephon Tuitt and Javon Hargrave when we had them against the rush defense. They were plugging up the holes, and even Tyson Alualu back in the day as well. But now you're focusing on this rush defense that's just lacking so much, explosiveness in the early phase of the season. And I still think it wouldn't have made a difference, seeing how that this defense ran with the soft zone and the lack of the pressure, because Nick Chubb is still going to gash us. And now I want to get into the injuries here, because like I said, we're banged up in this game. Aside from Cam Hayward and aside from Deontay Johnson, we know that they're missing significant time, which at this point, I think Deontay Johnson missing time might be best for us, because Deontay Johnson's just been such a non-factor. All that money paid to him to have as many receiving touchdowns as everyone watching this video. So it might be best that he's going to miss this game, and he's going to miss time as well, seeing that he busted up his hamstring, not badly, hopefully. I hope he's okay. But you get the point. I think we're better off without him at this point, because his extension is up and his contract is up after this season. So Omar Khan, be aggressive in the offseason and at least try to get T. Higgins to come on over here, because the Bengals are probably going to move on from him. The very least you can do is talk to the guy and say, hey, T, you want to come on over here and play for Pittsburgh? Very worst that can happen is he says, thanks but no thanks. But that's another video for later. Aside from Cam Hayward and Deontay Johnson out, Muth is banged up. Chooks is banged up. James Daniels banged up. Miles Boykin all banged up as well. All these guys are hurt. What are we going to do on this O-line? Because Kenny Pickett got sacked 5 times. None by Nick Bosa, mind you. But he got sacked 5 times. The hell are we going to do on this O-line, man? How are we going to open up holes so we can get a run game going? How are we going to have better pass protection? How are we going to have better run blocking? What are we going to do? Is Darnell Washington going to be on the O-line? I don't know. Does he get that experience? I don't know. Does Nate Herbig get some time in? I don't know. What are we going to do? And it doesn't really matter as far as what we do with offense goes, because this is where I'm getting into Matt Canada. If you don't open up that playbook, we won't execute. This offense has been the same ever since Big Ben's last season. And everyone gave this guy the benefit of the doubt. Oh, well, Big Ben, he's almost 40 years old. He's done. He doesn't have anything left to prove. Oh, Mitch Trubisky's just a bridge quarterback. Oh, Mason Rudolph never really got a chance. Oh, Kenny Pickett's just a rookie. I see the same thing week in and week out as far as this offense goes. There are no deep shots, no sideline shots, no creativity, no, go routes whatsoever, nothing. It's always short passes that are barely past the line of scrimmage. The route designs are awful. They're the same route every single play, every single screen play, every single curl route, every single flat, every single drag, every single hitch is the same as far as this offense goes. And this is why this bald-headed cue ball 8 of a stooge in Matt Canada needs to get out of here. And at the same time, Mike Tomlin needs to put his foot down and stop having so much trust in everyone. Because you know Mike Tomlin recruited this guy out of Maryland who flunked out of college. That's the truth about Matt Canada. This guy failed as a college coach, and it is showing in the NFL. This offense will suffer for as long as Matt Canada is here. Because now defenses all know Mike Tomlin's philosophy on defense, and they all know what we're going to do as far as offense goes. They don't have to play tough defense. They don't have to play man-to-man every time. They can take their time because they know they can stack up the box, play short, because there is no aggression, and we won't use the whole field past 15 yards the entire game. I am sick and tired of people giving Tomlin a pass because he's never had a losing season. Is this what a winning head coach does as far as game planning goes? You tell me down in the comments. And that's why the Browns are a big mismatch for us, believe it or not. Like I said at the beginning, this is the least confident that I have ever felt going up against the Browns, and this includes the playoff game from a few years ago. Yeah, I didn't feel 100% confident going into that wild card game, but I still thought, it's Big Ben at home. It's the Steelers at home. The Browns, they ain't beaten us, and at that time, the Browns haven't beaten us in Pittsburgh in 18 years. I still feel like we can win, despite my suspicion the Browns can win. This time around is different, because we may be 0-1. It's a different kind of 0-1, though. We drop this game, Cincinnati wins, we're sitting at 0-2, sole possession for last in the North, and I don't know if we can get out of it. Anyway, here are my keys to victory. I'll still do keys to victory. I don't know why I'm wasting my time with this, because we all know the Steelers ain't going to do this. But I'll just do it for shits and giggles. Here are my keys to victory for Monday night. As far as offense goes, well, like I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, you have all these injuries on the offense. Freiermuth, Johnson, Chooks, James Daniels, Boykin are all out. I think this opens up the door for Allen Robinson to get some playing time here, because I can't remember if Allen Robinson was a factor or not in the 49er game. I mean, this is another guy that you brought in from free agent from the offseason in a trade with the Rams, where you pretty much got him for free on a 1-year rental. So have him be utilized here. Make this be the game where Allen Robinson comes in and shows that he is the veteran that we got him for, to test out these young guys here, to help out George Pickens with the routes, to get these guys in and have them be serviceable. Because like I said, our receiving core now is very thin. I don't know if Gunnar Olszewski's going to be a factor. Make Calvin Austin be that threat that we're hyping up to be. Because we now basically have 4 targets on offense for Kenny Pickett coming into this game. This is where Allen Robinson has to be a factor. And you also got to have Darnell Washington be a factor, because Muth is hurt. And we know Darnell Washington is a very good blocking tight end. Those are my 2 X factors on offense here, and those are my keys to victory on offense. Get Allen Robinson and Darnell Washington involved in this game. Defensively is, and pretty much as far as the rest of the offense goes, I don't know why I'm saying this, but I'll just do it anyway. You go to Baskin Robbins, Matt Canada. You go to Baskin Robbins. Hey, let me get a vanilla milkshake. Okay. And that's it. How about some peanut butter sauce? How about some chocolate sauce? How about sprinkles, cookie crumbles, Oreo crumbles, chocolate chips? How about some of that? That would make a bomb-ass milkshake right there. You get what I'm saying? Don't be so bland. Use Kenny Pickett's abilities. He can use his legs. Have him take deep shots. Incorporate RPOs. Use Calvin Austin's speed. Don't be so bland. But we know it's going to be the same offense. So that's it offensively. Defensively, stop this zone defense crap, man, because we all know it doesn't work at the end of the day. Tomlin, I don't know why we played so much soft zone on Sunday, and I know that Cam's banged up in this game, but you got to have Keanu Benton, as I said earlier, be involved in the rush defense. If DeMarvin Leal is healthy for this game and his elbow is sustainable enough to play through, I'd like to see him get involved too. And if Montravius Adams absolutely has to start, then use him to the best of your ability that you possibly can, because we all know that this Browns rush defense is nothing to laugh at, and it's one of the best in the game. So those are my keys to victory right there. I don't know what good it's going to do, because we all know the Steelers probably ain't going to use it anyway, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's about it as far as my preview goes. I know this was way longer than I thought it'd be, but when I'm pissed off and when the rest of the fan base is screaming for changes on the offense and the coaching staff to be made, you know that I have a lot to say. Regardless, though, it's Browns Steelers. I can't stand the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns can't stand us, but that's when it comes to good old AFC North rivalries, because the AFC North plays each other this week. As I mentioned, Ravens are at Cincinnati. I'm going to keep a heavy eye on that game on Sunday while I'm collabing with Crazy Dog, but we'll just wait and see. Hopefully we can stay out of last place, or at the very least, if have the same record as either the Ravens or the Bengals. Who knows? Maybe all four teams in the AFC can be 1-1 by the end of week 2. But we'll see. Bottom line, I'm not very confident going in this game. Steelers, you better do your job, because you drop this game on Monday night, you're sitting at 0-2. You could be in sole possession for last, and at this point, I don't know if you can get out of it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. How are we going to beat the Cleveland Browns? How the tables have turned. This is Mac checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.